Hello, everyone. Welcome to my informative speech. I know that the pandemic has stopped you guys from traveling and visiting different countries over the world, but with the vaccinations are going pretty well right now, I think you will be able to travel soon. That's the reason why, with the informative speech today, I want to let you know about Hoi An Asian Town, a must-visit Asian town in Vietnam for you to consider as one of your future destination. So before I go to the main part, I want to give you an overview. First, I'm going to introduce to Hoi An Asian Town. Then I'm going to talk about the interest things that you can find when you visit this town. And last but not least, I'm going to give you a conclusions, obviously. So now we come to the introduction of Hoi An Asian Town. Hoi An Asian Town actually a historic trade port. It's a combination of like Vietnamese and other foreigners when they came here to trade their products, earn more money, right? And with that reasons, it's not only important for trade within Asian country, but also it's very important to trade around the world, from Europe to India and Japan. And because a lot of businessmen, a lot of traders, they came here to trade their products, that the city reflects like the history and also the culture as well. And last point about this city, it's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So my main point for this speech is like, as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Hoi An Asian Town is a must-visit destination when you visit Vietnam. And continue, I'm gonna give you some interesting things, interesting information about the Asian town for you to consider. So before I go to the main interesting thing, I want to give you the preview. First, the first interesting thing I want to talk about is the history of the rich culture heritage. The second one is going to be the different aspect of the culture heritage showing in this small town. And last but not least, I'm going to show you the thing that you can try to explore the culture as a whole. And so now we go to the history of the rich culture heritage. This city was founded between the 7th and the 10th century. So it's really long times ago. And it was named Haifo or Faifo in Chinese first, because Chinese found this city. And Haifo means like the city next to the sea, because it actually next to a river, and that river leads to a bigger river, a bigger ocean. So with that geographic location, that city become a port. So it have really big economic potential. So because with the economic potential, a lot of people come here to trade their products. It becomes the most powerful trade port in Vietnam, and the lies like the trade the network of this city is very broad. It's come from the East Vietnamese Seas and as well as far as Egypt. So when you come here, you will find a lot of like the small boats like this. I mean, the people don't travel or don't trade by boat anymore, but they still have the service for you to experience as a businessman back to the good old day. And because a lot of businessmen come from different country, they came here to trade their products. They also build architecture. They also build the culture background for the city as well. So the history and the character was unchanged for the next 200 years within the city. And with all those characteristics, a lot of people perceive Hoi An Asian town as the combination between a local and an international history and characteristic culture background as well. That's the reason why it deserves UNESCO's recognition. So we're done with the first point of interesting about this city. We come to the second interesting thing about Hoi An Asian town is that this town had different aspects that contribute to its rich cultural heritage. First is the charm of the Asian world. So you know that, as I said, a lot of businessmen, a lot of traders come from different countries. They come here and exchange their products. So they actually bring their culture to this Asian town. So this town was built with like Western culture, Asian culture, not only Vietnamese culture, but also Chinese and Japanese culture. And it's very interesting because the architecture is still there. It's the combination between Asian and Western architecture. You can see it's on the wall, on the curved roofs, very vibrant, very lovely. And along the riverside at night, there are a lot of speakers that people make it there, and those speakers will let you hear our traditional music. So it's very interesting because it's the mist, but you can easily recognize what kind of culture those characteristics come from. And the second aspect, the second interesting in this kind of culture heritage is like the whole Haitian town has a really vibrant marketplaces. So you can find the local souvenir, you can rent a bike to go around the city, you can try the local colonial hat. So yeah, the local colonial hat. So you can see, and you can also like rent a boat by yourself without the guiders. So you can just like run around the city with a boat. And the third part is like the local gastronomy and secret recipes. The interesting about Hoi An Asian Town is that it have very like special cuisine. There are a lot of dishes that's unique to the region, so you cannot find those dishes everywhere except Hoi An. You cannot find it everywhere, even in Vietnam, and you cannot obviously find it in the US or different country. Very unique, very special, very delicious. And last but not least, the nightly occurrences or like night activities. Interesting thing about the city as well. You will see a lot of people like they're gonna float the candlelight on the Tubon River with the good wishes, and you can join them. And when it comes to the night, the music and dance will take place. So you will see people play guitar, people will sing, and night it's time for the bar and the coffee shop to open. I mean, the coffee open like from day to night, but when it's come to night, it's become more crowded. So you will enjoy the night activities. And the last piece of information that I want to give you is like the thing that you can only try in Hoi An. You cannot try all those things in different country, in different region. The first thing you can try only in Hoi An is like when they're down Hoi An Old Street. You will walk down the street, admire the old and the new architecture, the buildings. You will see a lot of like local store that they sell very traditional Vietnamese thing, clothes, colonial hat. You can taste a lot like local food when you walk around the street. And I have a quote here from T. Anna. She like a blogger. She spent a week to 10 days in Hoi An. She said, wander through the small streets without worrying about being run over by motorbikes, and take some time to explore the village by foot. Our site can be reached within walking distance. The second thing that you can only try in Hoi An is the market of Hoi An. So you will see like the local food there. Obviously, a lot of local food unite in the market of Hoi An. You will see like fresh veggies, fresh fruits. You can find like the meat and the fish really fresh there. And you will find a lot of interesting dessert there as well, just for Hoi An. You cannot find all the dessert, that dessert in like other regions in Vietnam. And the third thing that you can only try in Hoi An, like demand for Hoi An night, as I said previously, the coffee, the bar open it there, the traditional music, traditional dance, the candlelight on the river. You cannot find it everywhere except Hoi An. And the last thing is bánh mì. So you can see on the picture I pointed there, bánh mì Hội An, the world famous street food to taste in Vietnam. You can find bánh mì everywhere in Vietnam, but that taste, the Hội An taste, you cannot. So that Hội An taste for bánh mì in Hội An is the unique and special one. So it actually the product from French colonization, because French, when they colonize, they bring the bánh mì into our country, our culture. Is actually sandwich, but the thing inside we make it with our traditional taste. And Hoi An people, they have their own recipes to do that. So Hội An, bánh mì Hội An is the only thing you can try in Hội An. So we come to the conclusion. Um, I already gave you a lot of information. So I would say this city is have rich historical and cultural heritage. Definitely, it's influenced by Western Asian culture, and it's combined, it's mixed well, and it have like the unique characteristic that only Hội An has. And when you come to this Asian town, you can find it very easy to try a lot of things. You can bike, you can walk, you can try local food, you can sit down everywhere in Hội An. And it's very easy, you know, so you can explore culture in a very like normal and casual way. And I wanna emphasize my physics last time. As the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Hội An Asian Town is a must-visit destination when you visit Vietnam. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that all the information I just gave you will stay in your consideration for your future destination. Thank you so much and see you next time.